Have you ever noticed some places are the same in many ways but very different at the same time? That's how Texas and Oklahoma are. Stereotypically, the residents have very similar lifestyles and cultures. Both are western states in history and geography. Both owe their early success to oil and ranching. They share a large border along the Red River and the same political views for a majority of its residents. There are many similarities, but there's also some significant differences between these two states. Today, we're going to look at why most people think Texas is better than Oklahoma. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's take a look. Population and demographics. Texas is the second largest state in the United States with a population of more than 29 million residents, while Oklahoma has a population of around 4 million. That's a bit of a difference. Texas is also more diverse than Oklahoma, with a large percentage of their population being Hispanic. They also have a significant African American population and a sizable Asian population. Oklahoma, on the other hand, is predominantly white, with a smaller population of African Americans and Hispanics. Oklahoma is one of the whitest states we have. Oklahoma is so white, you almost have to cross-reference dating apps with Ancestry.com. Their economies. When it comes to the economy, Texas has the second largest GDP in the country, while Oklahoma ranks 28. Texas has a far more diverse economy with major industries including energy, agriculture, healthcare, technology, and manufacturing. Oklahoma, on the other hand, has a more concentrated economy with strong focuses on the oil and gas industry, which makes up a good portion of their GDP. Now, when you don't have a diverse economy, meaning you don't have a bunch of industries going in your state, you're going to have fewer people moving in there. It's not appealing to them. There's very few IT jobs to go around in a state like Oklahoma compared to other states like Texas or California. I mean, it's great. They make their money on oil and gas, very profitable, and it normally employs a lot of people, which is good. You just have to have some bigger industries to go along with it. Education. Texas has a more extensive education system with more than 200 universities, colleges, and community colleges. It is home to some of the country's top-ranked universities, including the University of Texas at Austin, Texas A&M University. Oklahoma has a smaller education system with fewer universities and colleges, but it still has some notable institutions like the University of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. They have community colleges too, just not nearly as many as Texas. And it's not just because Texas is a bigger state. Oklahoma only has 45. That's not counting trade schools, which Texas beats them there too. For K through 12 grades, Texas is ranked 22nd in the nation. Oklahoma is ranked 42nd in the nation. So the chances of your kid getting a better education out of the two is definitely going to be Texas. Climate and geography. Texas and Oklahoma have similar climates with hot summers and mild winters, but Texas has a more varied topography and geography. Texas has several major cities, including Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and even El Paso, each with unique culture and identity. Oklahoma, on the other hand, has fewer, with just Tulsa and Oklahoma City being the only legit metro areas. In my opinion, those two cities are very, very similar in about every detail you could think of. I'm sure if you're from Oklahoma, there's vast differences between Tulsa and Oklahoma City. I've had people tell me Los Angeles and San Diego are very similar. To me, they're polar opposites. Now, there's one other thing I should probably bring up here, and that's real estate prices. Oklahoma, by far, is a cheaper place to buy some property. When you look at comparable neighborhoods and cities, Oklahoma tends to be about 20 to 25% lower than Texas. Now, it's hard to get exact figures for an entire state, but that's usually where it is, 20 to 25% lower in Oklahoma. Now, that does attract a lot more people that maybe are trying to decide Texas or Oklahoma. They might decide Oklahoma just on cost, but that's not enough to sway a majority of the people on how they feel about Texas and Oklahoma. Call a Realtor, they'll tell you the same thing. Now, there's one other thing when it comes to the geography of an area that's very important to a lot of people: water. To start off with, rivers. Texas has far more rivers than Oklahoma, at least major rivers. They've got the Canadian River, they've got the Rio Grande, the Red River, which they both share that one. You have the Colorado River, not the big Colorado River. There's actually a second Colorado River that goes through New Mexico and Texas. You have the Trinity River, which has some great fishing. You got the Sabine River. You got the Guadalupe and San Antonio rivers. Oklahoma's only real decent-sized rivers are the Arkansas River, the Red River, and they got some of the Canadian River too. Texas has a few more lakes, but Texas also has the Gulf of Mexico right there. Oklahoma is a landlocked state. This may not seem like a big deal to a lot of you, but it does bring a lot more attention to Texas, and it makes it more of an appealing place to live. Reputation. Texas has a reputation for being more Western and cowboy-like than Oklahoma. This is due in part to the history as a frontier state and its association with the oil and gas industry. Many people associate Texas with images of cowboys, oil derricks, and wide open spaces, even though both have the same things and history. While this may be a somewhat stereotypical view of the state, it has helped create this distinct identity that sets Texas apart from most other states, not just Oklahoma. Oklahoma's identity is less well-defined and can be sometimes overshadowed by Texas. Texas also has had much more success promoting itself as a tourist destination and as a place to do business. The state government and various organizations have invested heavily in marketing campaigns highlighting Texas's strengths and attractions. These efforts have paid off as Texas consistently ranks among the top states in the country for tourism and economic growth. Oklahoma, on the other hand, has not been as successful in promoting itself, and as a result, it may be less well known and less appealing to outsiders. When I was at Fort Sill, that's in Lawton, Oklahoma, anytime we had like a 3-day weekend and we were going to do something, we would head into Texas. Oklahoma has some things, but nothing like Texas. So it's really hard to attract tourists. If you've ever spent any time in Oklahoma, it's kind of hard to attract anyone to go there, really. It's not just the tourists. Think about it. Think of all the cool things you could do in Texas. Schlitterbahn, the San Antonio Riverwalk, the Alamo, the Space Center in Houston, Fort Worth Stockyard, Dealey Plaza, Reunion Tower, Cadillac Ranch, the Dallas Cowboys, Houston Texans, Houston Astros, Texas Rangers, Galveston, South Padre Island. This list can go on and on. What do you got in Oklahoma? The Oklahoma City National Memorial and Museum? Oklahoma City does have Bricktown. That's pretty cool though. I like that. Last thing I want to say on this one, just the reputation. Texas is known worldwide. I guarantee if you take 100 people from other countries and ask them to name a few U.S. states, they're going to name California, New York, Florida, and Texas. Probably about 80% of them. Maybe 10% will be able to say Oklahoma. So in conclusion, I'd like to give you a labored pause before I finish up the video. All right. Texas and Oklahoma are two distinct states with their own unique characteristics and identities. While both states have much to offer, Texas is more popular and more well-known than Oklahoma for several reasons, including, like we talked about, larger size, more diverse population, distinct identity, and effective marketing efforts to make the place popular. However, it is important to remember that popularity does not necessarily equal superiority, and that each state has its own merits and strength. I prefer the people of Oklahoma. They seem to be a little more friendly. That's just my own experience. All right, everyone, that's today's video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.